Mrs. Lebusky's math blog. We're working on lesson 14. We only have lesson 14 and lesson 15, and then we're finishing topic C of module 2. So there is a quiz this Thursday on topic C, which is lessons 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, so basically division. The more you practice it, the better that you'll get at it. So today we're going to continue, but we're going to look at division with decimals. You already started your do now. You have to get in the habit of thinking, does my answer make sense? Is it reasonable? Am I at least in the right ballpark? Then maybe that'll give you a little click to go back and check your work. So you could start by estimating. So we had our original equation, and you could estimate it to 30,000 divided by 100, or 30,000 divided by 150. So either way, your answer should be in the 200, 300 range. If your answer is 3,000, you're off base. If your answer is 30, you're off base. It should be in that 100 range. If it helps you, you may want to use your highlighter again. 132 goes into 312. So if it helps to just highlight the parts that you're working at, and graph paper is definitely a huge tool to use during long division. So I like to think 132 is close to 100. So 100 would go into 300 about 3 times. So if I come over to my margin, 132 times 3, I realize that's too big. So I have to start with 2. So that's 264. And then when I subtract, I get 48. And then I bring down the 1. Well, 100 will go into 400 about 4 times. If I come over here to my margin and try that, I realize it's too big. So 3. You already did all of this as you're due now, so that's why I'm going a little quickly. And then when you subtract, 85, bring down the 8. 6, 792, 66, add a decimal and a 0, bring down the 0. Don't forget to put the decimal up in your quotient.
Actually do that, don't if you're wrong. Because I got 24 with that remainder and 6
You must have done 132 times 4 wrong, or maybe you subtracted here somewhere. Alright, so go back and check and see what lines up. Okay? That's okay that you're checking, and if you think I made a mistake, that's okay to double check, because sometimes I do. But this time I didn't. So 5. You can stop once you have the 0. Or if the directions tell you to stop at the hundredths column or whatever. Yes. Well, 66 is your remainder. You have to add a decimal and a 0 and bring it down to make 660. Your remainder does not become your decimal. Okay? That's a good question. But now, here's what I had for my estimate. That was my estimate. Here's my quotient. Is my quotient 236 reasonable?
Yes.
Yes. If I had 2,365, that would not be reasonable. If I had 23.65, that's not reasonable. So that estimate, it doesn't guarantee you the right answer. But if you made a doozy of a mistake, it'll help you hopefully catch that mistake. All right, we're going to skip example 2 and move to example 3. Take a look at the board, and that's what I need to see on your homework. What's written in blue? Estimate, divide, answer in a sentence, and compare. Those are the 4 things that I want written down in your notes and on your homework. So, estimate. First, let's read the problem. A plane travels 3,625 and 2600th miles in 6 9/10 hours. What is the plane's unit rate? Well, remember from Module 1, to get it down to the unit rate, we want to find out how fast it goes in how far it goes in 1 hour. Oh my goodness. So let's estimate. 3,600 estimates to 4,000. 6.9 we could estimate to 10, because we want manageable numbers. They're called compatible numbers. Something that's going to divide evenly for my estimation. So my answer should be about 400. Okay? Yes?
How does 6.9
Well, because I wanted something that would go into 4,000 evenly. For my estimation, I just need a general idea. I don't have to get it exact. So I rounded it to a nice big number that would go into 4,000 evenly, because that's how I estimated my first number. All right, so now let's first write the division equation. 6 9/10 is my divisor. 3,625 and 2,600 is my dividend. Now, what's different about this than what you had for homework and you do now is that we have a decimal in our divisor. We want to make sure that we have the same units. We have to be looking at place value here. So what did you learn to do?
we move over the decimal point to the
Right.
divisor?
I want to remove the decimal from my divisor, but I can't just remove it, can I?
No.
That's changing the value. What I can do is multiply that by 10 to make that 69. However, if I'm multiplying my divisor by 10, I have to multiply my dividend by 10. Because I want to keep the same value so that we have those same units. Is it okay to have a decimal in my dividend? Yes. As long as I've moved it over in my divisor, I'm in good shape. Now, I don't know about you, but I definitely do not have my 69 times tables memorized. So in the back of my head, I'm going to think of 70. And try to think of like my 7 times tables and see how many times 70 goes into it. So I want everybody to try to do this division now. And then write your answer in a sentence. If you want to use your highlighter, that can help you too. Does not go into 3, does not go into 6, but does go into 362. So how many times does 69 go into 362? 5 times 345. Go ahead, keep going. Graph paper is definitely going to be your friend. Once you have 0 as your quotient, as your remainder, you can stop. So my estimate was 400. Oh, first you have to write it in a sentence. So the plane travels 525 and 4/10 miles in 1 hour. I'll say the sentence again. The plane travels 525.4 miles in 1 hour, and that's the unit rate. Now, my estimate was 400. The quotient was 525.4. That is reasonable. It's a big difference, but it's in the same ballpark in terms of it's not thousands, it's not tenths. And that just lets me know I don't have to go back and check my decimal. I don't have to go back and check quotient. Okay? Now we can turn to exercises 1 through 7. And let's try exercise number 1. Estimate, divide, answer in a sentence, and compare. This is what I want to see on your homework. So first start writing out those steps so that you have those steps in your notes so that you know to use those for your homework. I'm actually going to stop the blog now because you could download the answers from the notes. But make sure that you have those steps written out in your notes and on your homework.